Hello everybody, and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am TheOutbackAl.
I'm Chibi Noob.
I'm Envy Jitters.
I'm CheerandCosplay.
And I'm Kozi.
So, sadly, we are ending Chibi month. But Chibi, You get to go out on one more thing. What are you going out on?
The original 1954 Godzilla.
Yay! Gojira.
Yes.
I feel like I'm actually saying that right on some level, but probably not. As we've learned many times, my, other language speaking is not good, so...
No,
yeah.
I think Godzilla would be correct.
Gojira?
I kind of deep dived into a lot of Godzilla lore instead of watching the actual movie. Whoops.
But have you actually seen the movie at one point or another?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, well that's allowed.
Godzilla was based off an actual, dinosaur. Like a Godziosaurus.
Yeah.
So, Godzilla is correct phonetically.
It's also a mix of two words. The Japanese they would say gorilla, which was gorira, and also the word for whale, which is kujira. So it was like they took two halves of those words and just mashed them together.
It works on so many levels.
Really?
I don't know how it honestly got translated to Godzilla instead.
I think...
probably phonetically.
Yeah, plus, you put it together. I don't know where Zilla comes from, but God, super creature kind of thing, and then Zilla seems to have some kind of lizard connotation, so in English, I guess that works.
I guess.
Apparently the original version was unavailable legally outside of Japan until 2004.
Yep.
Interesting.
I could not find the answer to this. How did this actually get so popular that, within 2 years, America was trying to steal it, even though, we were hardly 20 years removed from World War II?
Well, this isn't really, the first large creature, I suppose, film. So this did come after King Kong. But after a certain point, they made another one, and then they just kept making them because they were making money.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm not questioning that. I'm questioning specifically, I feel like our tensions with Japan were still pretty oof,
Yeah.
Not great, especially since we were doing, H-bomb testings in, the Bikini Atoll, which is not that far off.
Which is actually what sort of got this movie to get started in the first place.
So I'm wondering how it spread so globally that we were so infatuated with it that we're like, yes, we must have this here. With a white man, of course, but...
it's probably what Chib was saying earlier, how you had King Kong, the original 1933 film, so you had people that did like giant monster movies, and there were, campy monster movies in the 50s too, so I guess it's just kind of, hey, this movie from Japan about a giant fire-breathing lizard, let's bring it over too. But
it's a creature feature.
I think what worked with Godzilla largely was that it took a formula that had already kind of been established in multiple media, literature and illustration, even going back into the 1800s, because the late 1800s is when we start discovering dinosaur bones and a number of other things, and that got a whole bunch of people writing a whole bunch of fantastic literature and fiction and all sorts of stories along those lines. And now you have the medium of film that's kind of and especially as you keep going, you get better stagecraft, better effects, better things. And I think we had a couple different versions. King Kong's a great example, but there were other ones as well that just there's something about a giant monster that's just, your brain goes little kid mode. You're like, big thing is cool. A little kid loves a giant truck.
They pioneered a lot of techniques in Godzilla.
Yeah, I think that's probably why this one survives the best, is because it, and I'm going to say this, I don't know that this particular movie is the perfect giant monster movie. It's a little slow by today's standards, I think.
I have things to say about this film, but I'll go last.
But what I will say is that I think it fully established all the things needed for a successful giant monster movie. Sort of in a similar way how Halloween was not the first slasher film, but it kind of codified what a slasher film should be.
Yeah.
This film almost did not happen.
True.
Because there was originally, the producer was originally producing another film before that one got canceled, and then
It was about a
still
giant
had-
octopus.
Yep.
Sorry.
what?
It was supposed to be about a giant octopus.
No, it was not. It
You're
was
talking
supposed
about the Indian one, right?
It was supposed to take place in Indonesia, and it was something about... I'm not sure if it had a giant octopus in it, but that one was supposed to have something to do with, like, some sort of, like, military occupation and trying to freeing the people. Anyway, this one only came about because he was like, okay, how do I fill this slot that I was given? And the thought occurred to him, what if, after all the H bombings that have been going on in the South Pacific, what if it woke up some sort of giant creature? Hence why now we have Godzilla.
The only reason I say it had a giant octopus was because originally they were going to recycle the idea of the giant octopus into the kaiju of the monster before deciding a giant dinosaur was way fucking cooler.
Oh no. Originally it was supposed to be an octopus, but then they were like dinosaur. So when Giant Monster Film was conceived, originally it was an octopus. So yes, in that way, the octopus was there. Yes, correct. But
Look,
I'm sorry, I just saw that Godzilla took most of the ideas from the project that got scrapped and reworked them into it, so I assumed the octopus was the focal point.
I think it was more the romance storyline was the focal point.
yeah, I think it's fair that on a large level, you could switch out Godzilla for almost any other monster, because that's what every other monster movie did. They just remade Godzilla, but with a different monster.
Although, to be fair, they did use the giant octopus in Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Yeah.
Okay, but
And Goonies.
Godzilla pioneered the suit monster type.
Yep, suitmation.
How would that have worked with a giant octopus instead?
It was an actual giant octopus. It was just an octopus, but like they used like a blue screen.
Oh yeah, I've seen
No,
a bunch
no,
of
no,
movies
no.
like that.
No, I want suitmation of a giant octopus.
Well, and also the big thing about the movie is it came out 9 years after the atomic bombs and after they were doing hydrogen bomb testing. So this whole film is a giant allegory of messing with the natural world, and this is what you get as a result. So I did. Obviously, that message meant a lot more back in 1954 than it does now, but it still rings true to this day. I did appreciate that.
Which makes it really messed up that they put an American in there.
That's more of just like producers at the time being like, well, they're not going to watch it if it doesn't have like someone that like comes from our country. That doesn't make any sense. And so they sliced in, what was his name, Larry or something? I'm assuming Larry. I don't actually care.
They also changed it. Oh, I was looking it up. I found this part so funny. So, in the original, Godzilla is 50 meters tall, about 160 feet.
Mm-hmm.
In the American adaptation Splice machine, he's 400 feet tall. They're like, make him bigger. We got
Well-
it doubles bigger than that.
And even then, like, as the years went on, even in Japan, he kept getting taller throughout each subsequent era. So, and now I think he's, like, the largest he's ever been.
400 meters, that feels like that's like the
No,
Monsterverse.
400 feet.
That's what I mean. Like,
Oh.
he's about as tall as that right now.
I assume that largely it kind of goes along with Japan rebuilding. I mean, if they're making buildings bigger and bigger, your monster's going to have to get bigger and bigger, otherwise he can't smash. I mean, this is just
True.
logistics, people.
Speaking of logistics, I have a bone to pick with these military men.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
They, at the beginning of the movie, they did not know what's sinking their ships, right?
Yeah, they didn't
No.
know, and that was what was scary.
So they have, for all intents and purposes, sink shipping ocean that they decide they're going to sail across in a ship to ship sinking island that is located in ship sinking ocean to study what is causing the ships to sink. what was their thought process there?
I don't know if there was. I don't think there was an island, but yeah, there was like
they went
spot in the
to Odo Island during the beginning of the film.
Where Godzilla's footprint was.
It was right after the fishing vessel.
Yeah, I think it all started with just
down.
them going down in the ocean and that. But yeah, eventually does go to the island and that. I do like this is like a way years later nitpick kind of thing. I know we were still kind of learning radiation and what it does and whatnot. And look up what the U.S. military was doing in the 50s with like nuclear waste and that. It is astounding that we've never blown ourselves up. But yeah, I love that they were just kind of standing in the footprint. They're like, "Oh my god, this footprint is as radioactive as a just exploded H-bomb." And I'm like, "Why are you standing in it? What the fuck?"
Well, not only that though, but they were touching the fossils with their bare hands.
You should be melting right now.
Yeah, they would not have been able to stand there if that was the level.
No. I guess I would call this like a more of a scientific nitpick myself. Apparently, Godzilla is a dinosaur from 2 million years ago? No.
Yeah, no.
Sir, the Jurassic period ended 143 million years ago. The math is way off. I don't expect them to know that because it was the 50s. But yeah, I was like, check your science.
But
also, I don't think they expected people to like fact check them in the middle of the movie.
It is one of those things where it's like, yeah, this isn't how this works. Also, there's a giant lizard. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I was a little surprised. Like, obviously, I've seen a lot of Godzilla iterations over the years. I thought way more had changed from the original design. I don't know if we've moved back towards the classics or not, but like, it felt like Godzilla I was familiar with, like down to the shape of his spines and everything.
I mean, he hasn't really gone through that much of like a design change.
Yeah.
I would say he stayed, aside from like a couple of cosmetic things, I would say like he stayed fairly consistent. The spines are one of the things that actually have stayed the most consistent because they're just so iconic. Even if you're gonna take like the 1998 Godzilla,
I was just about to
with
bring
Matthew
that up.
Broderick, they still have the spines. They still have the spines. They still have the radiation breath.
But at the same time, though, it was such a drastic departure from the original design that Toho, not only did they get the rights to that character, they retroactively changed his name to Zilla and made Godzilla brutally murder him in like 10 seconds in Godzilla Final Wars to get back at people.
Regardless, I think that like, yes, it was like not the Godzilla design that, you know, it has been so prolific throughout the years, but I would still say like they kept a good chunk of things still there, just not the head shape.
I'm gonna throw this out there. If the design works, why change it that much, you know?
I think it's a pretty big testament to how well they constructed that suit.
Which one?
The original.
Oh, so the one thing about the original suit is that it was fairly heavy in materials. The first suit they actually did not use past the first film because it was so heavy and so like hard for Haro Nakajima, who was the stuntman who wore the suit. It was so hard for him to move in and just be in that like after about 3 minutes of filming he would like pass out from heat exhaustion, so he kept having to get in and get out of the suit.
Wait,
because
so in the scene where he's surfacing, I thought, oh, it must have been so fun to shoot that. That guy was probably just like kicking his little feet. He was actually drowning. Oh my god.
Little bit. Honestly, in a lot of subsequent films, even when they made the suits a lot lighter and more maneuverable, it was still difficult for the people who were in the suits to like do the water scenes and also do just like a lot of other things. Not necessarily the Godzilla suit, but I think one of the other creature suits. In later films, the actor or stuntman who was in the suit, he would start sweating through his clothes within about a minute or two. I think that was in Godzilla vs. King Kong, I think that
furries
was
had
that.
not invented proper ventilation yet.
No, they had not.
And also, I can only imagine what it was like to actually see out of that costume.
See,
I'm
what do you
just
mean?
saying, like, it looked really fucking good. Like, down to, like, I know we're talking about them struggling moving and how bad it was for them, but, like, the way it moved was fantastic. Like, it felt like there was musculature we could see moving in it.
Oh, yeah.
I do think it, and I think this is just one of those things of like, you have to work with what you have. I do think it doesn't look as good in the daytime. Because, like, there's only one shot of Godzilla in this movie that's in the daytime, and the rest of it is at night, where he's a little more silhouetted, he's a little more cast in shadow, which does make it a little scarier looking, and a little more intimidating. I do love the way that this movie was shot, because, like, you don't think about it that much, but, like, everyone looks so small in this movie. Because, like, I don't think there was a single point where there was, like, a low-angle shot of a human being. And I think they wanted it at eye level or a little bit above and like had these like shots that were a little bit wider than medium a lot. That way you could kind of like see all around them and see like, oh, they're kind of small in whatever this space is. And then you're thinking about Godzilla and how big he is as a result.
I really want to give props to how they edited this. To go in and like hand like add the details for like the radiation is already a lot of work. But the scenes where they splice together like actual Godzilla with people, not just cutting back and forth between the two.
Yeah.
I can only think of the one off the top of my head. I'm sure there were more. But like that would have been a lot of fucking work.
I mean, I want to say you could probably do a back projection for that. That's what they did a lot for like Western chase scenes back in the day when people were on horses and needed to have a moving background.
That is actually what they did with a lot of films. I don't know if it was particularly with this one, but they had a projection up on the back with what they had filmed of Godzilla, and then they had the people in the foreground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also want to... And you guys are more film buffs than me, but like watching this film, I really didn't notice many digital shots in the film. Like I felt like almost everything was practical. Like maybe the fire breath and maybe everything.
They didn't have digital yet.
Yeah, but like maybe the fire breath and then like the very end where like he turns into skeleton. But otherwise, he's destroying real sets, real buildings, and I do love the miniatures. Like you can clearly tell they're toy subways or they're toy cars, but it kind of adds to the charm a little bit.
Toy planes.
All the fire breath and all that was just them like scrubbing out like the pigment from the film itself.
It's like a chemical treatment in that, and like there's really only one shot that they used that actually has the spines glowing in that, so that would have been also done that way. I will say that like I think part of this is that I watched this because it like on streaming, like a digital version of it. But I will say that it probably, with an old style projector and everything, and how a lot of those looked back when they were actually being used in theaters and that, this probably looked even more realistic from maybe the fact that maybe it was a lower quality print or something that whenever you were watching it. So, yeah,
it's like when you look at a lot of like old games or like animated shows on modern screens, they look way more pixely and blocky. But if you actually watch it on an appropriate like screen from the age it was manufactured, the colors do like blend and like shade.
Yeah, because I forget if it was interlacing or something else, but there's a blur caused by those screens, and the artists would use that blur to smooth out the pixelation and colors. Yeah. Honestly, really genius when you like look into it. Take some time to look into that because it's a fascinating thing.
Like the history of like media, specifically on screens, is just like so fascinating with how far we've come, but also how they made these things work when we did not have the technology we have now.
Yeah. And
how oftentimes it can feel and look a lot better than what we can do now.
Yep. We're still trying to like essentially recreate methods or like things that happen sometimes by accident. Like if you really want to get into some stuff like that, look up anything on the behind the scenes of Lawrence of Arabia. They actually had an issue that turned into a boon for them it was so hot out in the desert, it was actually warping the film that they were using.
Ooh.
But not like warping it shape-wise, but it was like affecting the chemicals in it, and it produced a color for the film that they had never been able to produce before. And it actually worked out in their favor whenever they printed it.
That's pretty cool.
Honestly, those epic films from like the 40s and 50s and early 60s, like 10 Commandments, like I'm still impressed by how they managed to do all that, because like all those extras are real, like they're not digital, so they had to bring all those people out to sets and do all that kind of stuff. Like, it's amazing when you think about, they did that with such limited technology back then.
I mean, they had technology, it was just different from what we got.
The innovation, though.
Oh yeah.
Y'all are going on and on about the editing, and I was just like counting a lot of, jumped frames, a lot of using like multiple takes in one shot. They just like that didn't
The
flow nicely.
tanks.
It could be like we lost some frames when it was digitized, but there was a couple times, especially like when Abiko was on screen, she'd be like neutral
And then start crying.
and then
Or
Yeah.
the one scene she started laughing a little, probably because she thought they'd cut already.
I gotta be real with you. That happens, I think, just because that was kind of a style. Like, honestly, that happens in a lot of American movies from back in the day, where, like, people will, like, emotionally change on a dime sometimes in a scene.
The audio was really fucking good for a movie like this, especially the sound designer and all that. They had no fucking clue what they were doing. They were changing that shit on the fly.
The thing about at least the score, they found Akira Ifukube within a week of finishing it, and they're like, here you go, make stuff for this movie. And we're only showing you bits and snippets.
I mean, the main Godzilla theme song that's in the opening credits, I mean, it's been the theme for all these years.
Like, two motifs that you'll hear throughout this film, like, they're still used to this day. And, like, they are just synonymous with Godzilla to begin with. So, also, the roar was made by loosening strings on a contrabass.
Nice.
Taking a pine tar resin, soaked glove and just running it along the string and playing it back, slowed down, reversed.
They tried to use a snare drum first.
It would not have worked.
That's another one of those things. Just look into that every now and then. There are so many interesting and fun stories about how people made sound effects for shit. Look, Star Wars has some great ones. Go look at behind the
That's
scenes.
Wonderful Foley.
That literally set the precedent in Toho for how they produced, like, a lot of their sound effects.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Disney still has a warehouse somewhere that has all of the crazy-ass devices that they made to do sounds for the old cartoons and that.
Oh, yeah.
And then also, it's not going to sound like a lot to us because modern day, but they had 4 entire audio tracks for this film, which was a lot for the time.
Yep. It all comes together pretty well.
So, I mentioned I had things to say about this film. Can I be the Debbie Downer?
Sure, go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah.
I will say this about the film. It's impressive as hell from a technical standpoint and from a thematic standpoint. I was disappointed, though, overall with the film because I felt like this film had no plot at all. Like, at least in terms of characters and their motivations.
Absolutely not.
I feel like Dr. Serizawa was the only one that had a character in this film. Like, everything else was just window dressing. Like, the two young people with their romance that went nowhere trying to impress their dad, that absolutely went nowhere. The younger brother that's bald, he had no point at all being there.
The younger brother, he's not a brother.
He's just some guy.
No, he's just some kid that because Godzilla destroyed his house, they took him in.
Oh, okay.
Which was honestly pretty common during World War II.
Yeah.
It's you don't have a home? Come with us.
Well,
I
felt
know.
like that. Yeah.
Did you watch this in sub or dub?
Sub. I watched purely
Okay.
sub.
I was gonna say, I don't know if it made a difference because in the sub they still put brother as the subtitle, but if you were listening, they never referred to each other as brother.
No.
Well, regardless, my point still stands. Like, I feel like the character, like, I told this to my one friend from high school that you guys have met before, who's also a big Godzilla fan. Godzilla Minus One is basically a remake of this film, but it's better in every conceivable way because it actually had a story with characters that you actually cared about, and made it that much more richer, at least in my opinion.
So the thing about these, not just this film, but also other subsequent films in this franchise, a lot of the film is the stories going on with the people, and half of the characters in these, at least early films, are either military personnel or journalists.
No, believe me, I know, and later on, I know in future Godzilla films that people don't care about the human characters, they just care about the monsters beat the shit out of each other. But I just felt like for this film, when it was meant to be mostly taken serious, I really didn't care about any of the characters other than Serizawa.
Yeah. Envy, I feel like you missed where I said I just did not watch this, really. I just went down rabbit holes doing research while it was playing in the background. Like, it is an amazing technical feat that they pulled off in a wonderful piece of media history. But the movie itself, I feel like, by our standards today, is definitely boring.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't even consider it boring. Like, I was never bored in the film. I was
a little bored in the middle.
I
think the beginning's good. I think the end's good. I think the middle has a couple of points where it slogs a little bit.
I just didn't connect with any of the characters. Let's put it that way.
Part of the problem.
They needed to put Subway Surfers in the middle.
Okay, we don't need to go that far.
Well, the thing is like, for the audience of the time, this would have been amazing. They wouldn't have had the expectation of stuff constantly happening. Like,
yeah,
having like music in the home was still considered like a relative luxury.
Yeah, I think part of it is also that this largely, and I think a lot of the monster films, whether it was in Japan or in America or wherever else they were making them, largely follow sort of a mystery plot, and it is kind of predicated on the idea that you don't entirely know what's going on. We are coming into this very much knowing what this movie's entirely about, and because I could also compare this to, like, a couple weeks ago, I was surfing channels a little bit, and I caught a double feature of Them, the giant ant movie from the 50s, and Rodan, which I think came out 2 years after this. And they both follow kind of a very similar plot of something happened, some sort of disaster happens. It's kind of small and isolated, but it could become a much larger thing. And then what happened, we're investigating, we're trying to figure it out, and then giant monster attack at the end. So, like, I think this is a weird thing to say, and it's going to make more sense the more I say it. This is the Citizen Kane of giant monster movies. I'm being real with you, because it established so many techniques, and it is such a landmark film, and is so important to film history. I also don't want to watch it on a regular basis because it's a little boring.
Yeah, like, it's a very, like, if you appreciate, like, the artistry, the history, like, this was obviously a labor of love from the people who created it.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily perform well. I wouldn't even say hold up. It still holds up pretty well. It doesn't perform well by our modern standards.
Yeah.
But, like, it is a testament to, like, human ingenuity and passion.
Yeah.
And if that's something you appreciate feeling in the work, like, not necessarily even you like the work itself. Like how Cece was talking last week about, I just like listening to autistic people, like, info dump about what they like. Like, you'll like this a little bit more.
True enough, I was thinking basically what everybody's saying, like, yeah, this is like a classic movie. But it's a little dry, a product of its time. I think it is worth a watch, but, like, not my favorite movie. My exact thoughts were, I mean, at least it's not as bad as Citizen Kane. This one I could, like, actually sit through.
Okay, but But no, actually, I'm gonna contest that. We also had a bug incident
Oh,
for
yeah.
the majority of the middle of the film.
Yeah, I did spend like 20 minutes chasing a bug with the children.
Oh.
So, like, the driest part of the film, Cece didn't really watch, and she was like, I feel like I'm missing everything. And I was just sitting, like, huddled down in the couch. I'm like, you're missing nothing.
Came back in, I'm like, yeah, okay. Caught all that. I double checked. I like looked up a plot synopsis. I was like, yeah, I saw all these points. I don't even know what I missed.
Well, then I would really
Politics.
say for you, do not watch Shin Godzilla.
Oh
if
yeah,
that is the case.
yeah. I hear it's basically. I've heard that it's a very unique take on Godzilla because there's like 5 different evolutions to him or something like that, and there's a lot of discussions of like internal politics and stuff.
I mean, the thing is that film is essentially, and we're going off of to another film of this same franchise, but it's more of a political satire, poking fun at Japan's geriatric political system because the politicians are too busy politicking to make decisions, while also being like an allegory for the 2011 tsunami, earthquake, and then nuclear meltdown that happened. Because as Godzilla keeps evolving, the disaster keeps getting worse, and it all compounds into one big thing. So that is essentially what that film was, because, like, not only was he, like, symbolism for nuclear disaster, but just, like, compounding natural disaster in general in that film. But
And then the politicians
a lot
just...
of Godzilla is used to tackle a lot of, like,
Environmental
other bigger
issues.
themes.
Yeah.
is another thing with these films.
Honestly, the
Like,
way you're describing Shin Godzilla, it sounds like Doctor Strangelove a little bit.
Probably.
I just know that there's I've seen a few clips of that film, like when Godzilla attacks the city, and my favorite part is when he literally shoots lasers out of his back and his tail at the same time. Like,
Disco
just-
Godzilla.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. They turned him into a disco ball.
Can we all, I feel like, unanimously agree the Professor Dad was a fucking idiot who was gonna get a lot of people killed with his, we can't kill it, we must study it. How are you studying the giant lizard that shoots death rays?
I agree, but at the same time, I'm like, there are people who are like, no, we must protect all the creatures, like, so I understand his perspective as well, but I'm like, dude, that thing is going to destroy your country.
I get that, but also, like, he wasn't like, we should protect it. He was very much, I want to personally study it. Like, you will have a much easier time studying this thing if it is dead.
Not the way they
He's
killed
a
it, though.
paleontologist.
No.
He's
Not the way they
excited
killed
to
it,
see
but-
a living creature.
I mean, nothing for nothing. Ken Watanabe's character from the MonsterVerse films, who was actually Dr. Serizawa, that message, he did it a lot better in those films. Like, he also, like, he wanted to preserve the natural ecosystem of nature, and he was like, yeah, we can't control this. Just let them fight, or let them do what they want, because we can't control them.
I mean, the thing about those films is that the kaiju are essentially the ones who are repopulating the Earth and basically giving the Earth new energy, so we kind of need them in those films.
Boy, those got weird.
They did get weird, and honestly, I'm not enjoying the cheesiness of the last 2 films.
Oh, I am. But that's a discussion for another day.
How did Godzilla just end up the extended Kaiju universe?
It's called the MonsterVerse. It started with...
No. I mean, Godzilla in general,
Oh, yeah.
So, like, some of the earliest ones is just Godzilla appearing in other films with other monsters, just because it was like it was a cool thing at the time to do, like, mashups in, like,
You
films.
also had, like, you could rely on the brand and the recognizability.
Oh, yeah. I think one of the earlier ones that they did, like, one was King Kong, and then the other one was Mothra versus Godzilla. And Mothra's film had come out a couple years earlier, So putting her storyline with Godzilla as like an antagonistic force, it kind of like continued a precedent, and then like they just kept adding more and they made more monsters to the point that by the end of the 60s, they had a film that had basically all of the monsters all together in one movie.
Yep.
It's just like when I think of like modern Godzilla, right? Obviously, I feel like we do have more of a return to the classic, but like circa 2015-ish, when I would think of Godzilla, I would think of Godzilla and all of the other kaiju that he was fucking up.
I mean, again, like those films were like where they would all shove them in together. I mean, they've been doing this for a long time.
I guess what I'm saying is it felt like Godzilla's brand became synonymous with him having all of these other monsters featuring.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of the thing is, if you wanted to turn Godzilla into like an antagonistic or even like a good force in the movie, you had to have him up against something else. And they didn't necessarily always want it to be the humans. So they're like, okay, what new thing can we or like what IP can we put up against him in this film and like sort of work the plot around that.
I support Godzilla stomping and nomming on humanity. Especially in the films he was a mommy.
I mean, it goes back to what we were saying from the beginning of the episode. It's giant-ass monsters beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, man. You don't gotta think that much about it. It works.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about the ending for a moment?
Sure.
What, the hydrogen bomb?
The oxygen destroyer?
Hydrogen bomb, yeah.
So, they're on the submarine.
Mm-hmm.
Patch is like, alright, I gotta go down and blow this thing up. Boyfriend is like, I can't let you go down there alone. They have a moment. I think they're gonna make out. They both go down. Boyfriend comes back up. Patch drops the oxygen destroyer. They start to pull him up, and he's like, but what if you don't? Be happy for me, for my sake. Be happy with each other. And then cuts off his return cable. Why?
Yep. Because he doesn't want to be pulled back.
Why?
He wants the secrets to die with him.
Okay, so I think
his notes.
Okay, so I think
it was a huge atrocity.
Okay, so I think you missed the part where he burns his notes and says to everybody, "Hey, yeah, I can destroy all my notes and my research. The information's still in my head.
As I am still alive, yeah.
So long as I'm alive, there's a possibility that people will coerce the knowledge of how to make this thing out of me."
Yes. Because it already has worked once, because they're using it now. So they're like,
why?
What if it happens again?
I feel like we did not cover the why of why he felt the need to make the puppy killing machine in the first place, you know?
Just the pursuit of science.
I think
I wanted to study oxygen.
I don't think, no. I don't think pursuit of science is a justifiable thing here.
No.
It's very possible he made it by accident and it was just like, oh fuck. We have made some things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It felt more like he was like, it is inevitable, people will want this weapon. Oh no, I have made this weapon. I must make sure I erase all of everything pertaining to this weapon. But then, why did you make it in the first place?
I feel like you have that backwards. He was studying the thing, discovered this, and then was like, oh shit, I just made an incredibly powerful weapon. No one can know about this.
Well, I think it would help if we knew what exactly he had actually been studying.
He says
oxygen.
He says he's studying oxygen from every angle. The fuck does that mean? Secondly, the idea of this weapon makes no sense. Okay, you're taking water. We're gonna No, hold on. He's taking the oxygen out of the water. What does that mean? The water becomes hydrogen? What the fuck are we talking about here? This should just turn the ocean into gas. What? You know what? It doesn't matter. The science doesn't fucking matter. It's a giant radioactive lizard. I should stop talking.
It wouldn't just turn into hydrogen. We have had, like, water be deoxygenated.
How does that cause fish to melt? What the fuck?
It wouldn't.
It wouldn't.
Would slowly suffocate to death.
Yeah.
But this this guy was supposed to be a student of the paleontologist.
Was he? I
Yes.
didn't get that sense.
No, well, they were colleagues.
Okay,
So
maybe
they
they
were,
were from
like,
the same
working
university, different
together.
departments.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got.
It made it sound like they were working very closely together. What the fuck would a guy being like, I'm studying oxygen from... What does it mean, and what were you doing with Dinosaur Man?
Okay,
I mean,
Carbon
the
dating?
thing about Dinosaur Man is that was gonna be his future father-in-law.
yeah, I think that's how they were connected.
Also,
but she's
Why
in love
does
with a different
Dinosaur
guy.
Man know so much about radiation?
I think in Japan, everyone learned really quick.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. He has his job and he has his hobbies.
I mean, no. Obviously, everyone didn't learn really quick because the entire village was irradiated, and they were all just like, what do you mean?
Cool, let's stand in this radiation pit.
Okay, I think that's more the filmmakers don't understand the science element of it more than anything else.
Yeah.
This is, shut up, it's a giant radioactive lizard, just go with it.
I cannot. I have questions.
Look,
There are plot holes.
I would be real with you. I think we just need Neil deGrasse Tyson to sit down, watch this movie, and then tell everyone how it's all wrong.
I honestly, like, this is one of the film franchises where I am definitely, like, doing my suspension of disbelief with this, because I'm like, I just want to enjoy the movies and also kind of cringe a little bit at the thoughtlessness of some of the stuff they put in there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think this film and the other films to follow were very influential, and I don't know, I really like them. I recommended this, so this is a yay for me.
No, wait. I also need to know how Godzilla breathed.
With his lungs.
I mean, lizards can breathe through their skin. He's an amphibian. He's like a frog.
Amphibians.
Okay, I will buy that. He did not have the correct scale set up, but I'll buy that. It does not work. Oh my god, guys. We
What?
have a modern understanding of dinosaurs and what they were actually like. Is Godzilla getting feathers?
Yeah, should he have feathers?
We'll see.
Somebody get me in contact. I have ideas. They need to know.
Who knows? Alright. I think overall here, I give this one a light guy. I think this is definitely one of those ones where, like, if you like kaiju movies, you gotta see this one. It's kind of where the modern kaiju came from, and you gotta, like, take a look at it. Is it the best movie by modern standards? No.
No.
There's been better ones. I think my
Yeah.
favorite actually is Godzilla -1 currently. Mostly because it's just Jaws. But I really like Jaws. So, like...
Is Jaws technically a kaiju?
No.
Almost,
No,
but
it's
not
just
really.
He's
it's just a bigger
shark,
shark.
though.
The Meg would be
Shark.
considered
Yes,
a kaiju,
that's a kaiju.
but not
Yeah.
But
Jaws.
yes. So overall, I would say give this a watch if you're a film buff who, like, this is your genre kind of thing. But if this is your genre, you probably have already seen it. So yeah, light yay.
I gave my thoughts.
I'm kind of in between a meh and a light yay, a may, if you will. So,
Hmm.
It's gonna be May.
yep.
Mhm.
So,
It's already May.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be June.
Yeah, it's gonna be June when this drops.
Gee.
No, it won't.
yeah, I guess I'll give it a meh overall. Like I said, I still very much appreciate the technical aspect of the film and the acting. You know, for 1950s cinema is still good too. It's just I wish I cared more about the characters in the film. But like I said, it's still a very monumental film, and I'm glad I saw it finally.
Yeah, I think Light Yay encapsulates this pretty perfectly. It's a classic. It's worth giving one watch, but maybe not too many more than one. Just on like special occasions. It's got its place.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty solidly like a meh here. Like, despite how positively I've talked about it. If you are into like a lot of the history, the background, the wanting to know how and why we have like this franchise where it is today, and a lot of like the standards and how they were set, it's a great thing to geek out to. If you are not very interested in those things, it's gonna be a little fucking boring.
Yeah, it's fair. Well, so closes out Chibi's recommendation month. Chibi, you got anything else to say about that?
Goodbye, everyone. I will remember you all in therapy.
Yes, we'll all need it. Especially seeing as what next month is. But we'll get to that later.
Do I get another month?
Never. No. Never again. Absolutely not. But next
before we go, I do want to sour the mood a little bit, but I do want to pay tribute to a legend that we lost. This week when we recorded this,
like literally, like yesterday, right?
A few days ago. Yeah, Tom King. I mean, talk about a voice from our childhoods. I mean, Professor Utonium and him from Powerpuff Girls, Mr. Harriman from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Yoda, and so many characters from Star Wars. And I just found this out the other day. He's the guy that did the voice for the Disney Fast Play on the DVDs back in the day.
Disney Fast Play.
Yeah, like he had
what?
so much.
I'm suddenly not sad anymore.
No, he was such a legend, and everyone that knew him said that he was such a great guy. So it was a shame too. He was forced to retire 6 years ago when he had a stroke and he lost his voice, and he died from complications from that. So rest in peace.
Yep. So we're going to be doing our monthly recap at the beginning of next month for next week, and then we'll let you guys know what the month will be about. So, yeah, come back next time. We'll see you guys then. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!